What's going on, everybody? I'm the Shadow Sage. This is part 9 of Naruto befriended Kurama as a child. And if you do enjoy the video, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you do want to see part 10 of this series, reach the like goal of 600 likes. And now let's get into the video.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
In part 8, Gaara got revived by Granny Chiyo, and when they got back to the village, they never had to go on the Tenchi Bridge mission, because obviously they did not have to get Sasuke back from Orochimaru. So instead of going on this mission, Naruto and Sasuke stay in the village to train quite a bit, and while Naruto and Sasuke are training together, they are attacked by Root members and Danzo, who want to steal Naruto's KCM powers. So then Naruto and Sasuke end up defeating all the Root members that attacked them, and after that they take down Danzo, who also attack them before he can manage to use Kotoamatsu Kami on Naruto. And in reality, they had no clue why Danzo was attacking them, so Sasuke used a Genjutsu to go inside Danzo's mind. And he does find out why Danzo attacked them, but he also does find out something else. And as you can guess, what he finds obviously shocks him, and this is the truth about Itachi and the Uchiha clan and the coup d'etat and all that wonderful stuff. And that's where we left off in part 8, so now let's get into part 9 of this series. Alright, so when Sasuke kills Danzo, Naruto's like, hey, what the hell? We got information from him. Why'd you do that? And Sasuke just turns his head and says, shut up, Baka, with his voice breaking through the tears. And when Sasuke turns his head, that's when Naruto notices the tears in Sasuke's eyes and the pattern in his Sharingan has changed. And because of Kurama telling him about history and stuff like that, Naruto knows about the curse of hatred in the Uchiha clan and how the Mangekyo Sharingan can cause this. And now that Naruto sees the condition that Sasuke's in, he knows that he really goofed up and that this is a really dire situation. So Naruto's trying to be nice and all says, Sasuke, you can talk to me, I'm your best friend, and Sasuke just wants to be alone at the moment. And as you might guess, Naruto's very persistent. After his continuous prying, Sasuke finally opens up about the truth, about what he saw from Danzo's memories, about Itachi, and all of that. And right now, Sasuke doesn't know who to take his pain out on. The elders who forced Itachi to murder his family and therefore indirectly killing his family, or Itachi who actually did it and listened to what the elders told him to, and lying to him for all these years. And as I said before, Sasuke does want to be alone right now and process everything, but Naruto's going to insist on staying with Sasuke, and Sasuke, knowing Naruto, knows that he doesn't exactly have a choice. And so they go back to Sasuke's empty house, and Sasuke sits in silence, contemplating, while Naruto awkwardly sits across from him. But what Sasuke is thinking about right now is that he doesn't know who he needs to hate. He only knows that he needs to shed blood to relieve the giant hole in his heart. And now let's talk about non-Naruto and Sasuke events. So this was around the time Hidan and Kakasu are going to get the two tails like in canon, and then go on to destroy the Guardian 12 temple. And the rest of the arc goes relatively the same. Asuma dies, except when Team 10 sneaks out, Naruto tags along instead of Kakashi, and Naruto makes Sasuke come. And the only reason this is happening is because when Team 10 snuck out to get revenge in canon, Tsunade only let them go because Kakashi was a Jonin and was with them. But now Naruto, who isn't training with his Rasen Shuriken, is available and who also forced Sasuke to come, so now they have two Jonin and Tsunade will have to give them permission. So then when they do end up fighting the Akatsuki duo, Shikamaru ends up taking care of Hidan like in canon, while Naruto and Sasuke carry the other two useless Team 10 members against Kakazu. And to sum it up, the arc has the exact same outcome, nothing much changes to be honest. And on the way back from the mission, Sasuke is still in his own world thinking about, oh, what am I gonna do? Who am I gonna kill? What the fuck is going on? And that's when Naruto chimes in and says, why don't you learn both sides? You already know why the elders wanted to kill your family, but why don't you ask Itachi? And Sasuke's like, oh shit, that's actually a pretty good idea. I need to know why I'm taking out my rage before I actually do so. So they decide to venture out on their own to find Itachi Uchiha. And they know they can't exactly ask Hokage or the elders, because obviously it's illegal to leave the Leaf Village. And if they ask about Itachi, that would imply that they know about Itachi and the Uchiha coup d'etat. So they end up deciding that they temporarily go rogue. And Naruto and Sasuke only mutually trust one person in the Leaf Village, and that's Kakashi. I mean, Naruto trusts a lot of people, but Sasuke only trusts Kakashi, so mutually Kakashi's the only one. So they drop by Kakashi's apartment at the middle of the night and leave a note which reads, we're getting answers, don't worry about us. Then they leave the village in search of the clan killer Itachi Uchiha. And once they're outside the village gates, Sasuke summons his ninja hounds to track down his elder brother by scent. And as they travel, a memory comes back to Naruto. And it's a memory from the two times he fought Itachi Uchiha. Both times he felt little to no malice coming from him, and when Naruto tells Sasuke this, he's surprised and he's starting to truly think that Itachi isn't the bad guy. And when Kakashi wakes up, he's not sure what the cryptic message means. He trusts Naruto and Sasuke and wants to respect their wishes, but he also knows that people are going to notice them gone pretty soon. For example, if Tsunade calls him on a mission, she's going to notice that they're not available. And he doesn't want to tell Tsunade because she could actually punish Naruto and Sasuke, so he decides to tell Jiraiya, who is probably more lenient anyway, so it's better to tell him. But little does Kakashi know, Jiraiya's already headed to the Rain Village to fight the Akatsuki leader. And so he fights Pain and gets a few black rods inserted in places he doesn't want, which is his back, you filthy perverts. So anyways, he dies, and I'll give you all a moment of silence to cry. And as Naruto and Sasuke travel through the woods, Naruto feels Jiraiya's hand on his shoulder just like in canon, and then Naruto awakens his own Mangekyo Sharingan, but no, I'm joking. But yeah, Naruto's gonna be like, what the hell just happened? And he's gonna stop because of surprise, but he's gonna shake it off and just keep going. And obviously Sasuke's gonna think that Naruto's acting weird, but he decides to just ignore it. And eventually Pakun picks up the scent of Itachi and Kasame, and they follow the scent and end up at the abandoned Uchiha fortress. And this time, instead of only letting Sasuke in, Kasame lets in Naruto as well, unlike in canon where the rest of Hebi were forced to stay outside. And y'all might be wondering why Itachi told Kisame to let Naruto inside, but you guys will find out later. So as Naruto and Sasuke walk into the hideout, they're both immediately under Itachi's Genjutsu. And yes, I know that Naruto's immune to Genjutsu, but Itachi's visual prowess is just too great, even for the infamous Nine Tails. Obito could keep Yagura under a Genjutsu with just the base Sharingan, so Itachi's a Genjutsu specialist and has a Mangekyo Sharingan, can definitely put Naruto under a Genjutsu, and on top of that, Kishimoto said it himself, so don't even get mad at me. So now let's dive into Sasuke's mind, who's under a Genjutsu. And inside his brain, he's fighting Itachi right now, and remember the first half of the fight in canon was basically all Genjutsu, so that pretty much doesn't change much. And inside Sasuke's brain, he's trying to ask Itachi questions, but Itachi's pretty much dodging the questions and just fighting Sasuke, so Sasuke has to fight back in self-defense, because right now Sasuke would rather not fight Itachi and just ask all the questions. So at the end of the fight, when Itachi's about to die and he's all bloody and stuff, he taps his younger brother on the forehead iconically, just like in canon, but this time he implants all the information about the Uchiha clan and himself, such as the history of the clan, Madara, Izuna, the Mangekyo Sharingan, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, all that stuff that Itachi said in canon to him during the fight. But this time, even though Itachi never planned for Sasuke to learn the truth, he knows that Sasuke already knows the truth, so he decides to implant his side of the story into Sasuke's mind. And as Itachi's body collapses to the ground and dies, the Genjutsu that Sasuke was unknowingly in is released. Meanwhile, in Naruto's head, he's having the conversation that he had with Itachi in the forest. Itachi's testing Naruto like in canon, and that will go pretty much the same. Naruto says he will keep Sasuke on the right path, which pleases Itachi, and Itachi smiles and gives Naruto Shisui's eyes. But since Naruto knows the truth, he won't shove it down Naruto's throat, and he'll actually tell Naruto vaguely what the eye is and what it does. But as he's about to ask more questions, the Genjutsu is released and Naruto's returned back to reality. Oh, and FYI, Naruto and Sasuke are released at the exact same time because Itachi can control time in his Genjutsu world. And when Naruto and Sasuke wake up, they see a kunai in Sasuke's hand and it's stabbed into Itachi's stomach. And as Itachi clubs onto both knees and blood splatters out of his mouth, he says, "I'm sorry, Sasuke. Take the path I couldn't. Be better than I was. And rebuild the clan better than father could. And always remember, I love you, Sasuke." And as those last words exit his mouth, Itachi coughs out more blood and the rest of his body collapses to the ground and blood spills all over the floor. And then Naruto and Sasuke just stand there stunned, unmoving and in silence, absorbing the massive information just given to them in such a short period of time. And as the adrenaline and shock wears off, Sasuke collapses to the ground and feels a sharp and excruciating pain in his eyes. And he looks at Itachi goes and his elder brother's eyes are gone. Sasuke places his hand on his eyes and then it dawns on him. During the Genjutsu, Itachi had implanted his own eyes instead of Sasuke, and he killed himself. And as Naruto comes back to his senses, he sees a crow on his shoulder and a summoning contract right in front of him that is already signed with Naruto's blood. And this is when Naruto realizes that Itachi gave him the summoning contract for the crow, and then the crow on Naruto's shoulder disappears into a cloud of smoke. And the reason he got a summoning contract this time is because since it's not inside his throat, he needs a way to actually use the crow. And that's when Obito comes into the hideout with plans to take and manipulate Sasuke, but he wasn't expecting the perfect Jinchuriki there. And now, Obito might not be the best villain out there, but he isn't dumb. And we all know that Orange Mask Obito isn't fucking with KCM Naruto, that's just plain facts. So Obito decides to cut his losses and just get out of there. And Naruto's confused and shocked about what just happened, and Sasuke's just too busy crying. And I can already hear the keyboards typing down in the comments, "Yo, Shadow, this makes no sense, fuck you." But I'm saying, yes, it does, just hear me out. Itachi's final hope was for Sasuke to kill him and move on. That's why I put Amaterasu in Sasuke's eyes to fight Obito. He knew Obito wasn't going to tell Sasuke the truth. Now that Sasuke already knew the truth, there was no point in fighting him. He just wants Sasuke to kill him like he wanted and never find out the truth. But since Sasuke already knew the truth, he would want Sasuke to know his own side of the story. That would only make sense as a brother. Now for Naruto and the crow. In canon, Naruto got the crow anyway, so that kind of makes sense that he would get the crow this time. Itachi was going to die and need someone to give the crow to just like in canon, so Naruto's the most obvious choice just like in canon. But since Naruto actually knows the truth already, he doesn't need to lie about, the crow. He can just tell him straight up what it is and that it's some of his power. So that means he won't have to shove it down his throat, he'll just give it to him in a normal way. And that normal way would be a summoning contract, because that's by far the most convenient way. Naruto can't just carry around a crow everywhere he goes. That would be very inconvenient for Naruto. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about about EMS for Sasuke. Itachi would just give Sasuke his eyes right away because he knows that Sasuke's gonna take them anyways, so he's like, okay, might as well give him now before he goes down the cycle of hatred. It's a win-win situation, and Itachi only wants what's best for Sasuke. So there's my explanation. I honestly think that's the most realistic path, so yeah. To sum this up for Sasuke, this is like when he met Itachi when he was reanimated to fight Kabuto, and he reconciled with Itachi and got set back on the right path. Well, actually, in Kenny wasn't exactly on the right path. He had that whole I'm gonna become Hokage and, you know, revolution bullshit, so yeah. But you guys get what I mean though, so it's alright. This time was never influenced by Orochimaru and like a little bit evil, and he has Naruto, so he's gonna skip on the whole Bernie Sanders revolution package, keeping him on the right path. And he's not being manipulated by a Walmart mod or Uchiha, so there's another reason he won't become a shitty Dragon Ball villain. And so basically now Naruto and Sasuke are gonna rest at the Uchiha hideout, you know, just catch up with everything, you know, make sure that they're not like in a dream or something like that. And when they finally decide to get back to the village, they decide to walk back and they're completely silent and it's all morbid and stuff like that. When they finally get back into the village, they're swarmed by root members immediately because they killed Danzo and they're technically criminals, but that's when Tsunade shows up using her authority and basically bails them out. And remember, at this point Jiraiya is dead, so Naruto and Sasuke leaving the village and killing the elders is kind of minor in comparison to Jiraiya dying, so she's not really like scolding Naruto and Sasuke for leaving the village. She's too preoccupied and grieving. And as Naruto's thanking her over and over again, she's like, shut up Naruto, come with me to my office. I need to talk to you about something. And that's when Tsunade sits down in her Hokage chair and introduces Naruto to Fukasaku, and they tell Naruto about his master's death at the hands of the Akatsuki leader. And Naruto's gonna get super depressed like in canon and say how if Jiraiya was a Hokage, he wouldn't let Tsunade go on this mission. And this is a super deep moment, and everyone knows what I'm talking about. This is one of the deepest moments in all of Naruto. So yeah, you guys definitely remember what I'm talking about. But in this what if, Tsunade isn't having any of Naruto's shit. Although she was already grieving, she's very furious at Naruto for leaving the village. So she claps back and yells, well, if you didn't just disappear, he would still be here with us. And as soon as these words leave her mouth, they cut deep into Naruto's heart, and she knows that she messed up. And the already dead silent room seems to become even more quiet as to suck up the sound from the surrounding areas. And Naruto stops for a moment, and instead of just walking away all depressed, he runs away, tears streaming down his whiskered cheeks. And Naruto's even more fucked up in this timeline because now he blames himself for the pervy sage's passing, because deep down he knows that Tsunade is right. And this is where I'm gonna wrap up this video. And if you got this far, you might as well drop a like and sub to the channel. And if you want to see part 10, help the video get to 600 likes. And finally, remember to stay safe and have a great day. I'm the Shadow Sage, signing off.